I cannot say buy a new jet, even if you need one. I don't need one. You don't need one because you can go to anywhere with that jet. I will never need one.
You fly Airpeace, you fly Ghana, you fly BA.
Of course, baby, Shehu, I will not use 150 billion to buy a jet when 80% of our primary health care centers are not functioning.
Even as against security protocols.
Which security?
You've been a governor, you know what it means.
No, what do you mean, security? That's what they tell. That's nonsense they tell. I was a governor for my first 4 years. I drove 406. For the rest of it, I didn't drive a bulletproof car. Nobody's trying to kill you. You're doing the right thing. It's when you do the wrong thing that you're talking about that.
Would security agency even allow you
forget all those things. If your people are dying, you should be ready to die. That's the job you chose. Or you go back to your house and live quietly. The president should also be ready to die.
Okay. Very cool. Many people say that my laughter, the way it is, I think Mr. Peter Obi was just on fire on this whole interview that he did. There are so many nuggets, in the interview. If you're going to take them pieces by pieces and just carry them on, like you said, you really don't need a jet. What do you need a private jet for? You don't need a private jet, especially in a country where your people are suffering. They don't have food to eat. There is no security. There is no employment. Lots of out-of-school children. Women are dying from childbirth. Children are dying under the age of 5. Infant mortality is high. So many things. People are starving, and then you carry money to buy private jet. This is something that with all you had amassed before, you could buy that private jet for yourself. If it's not sheer and absolute wickedness, I don't know what it is. If it's not sheer and absolute wickedness, the same way they use over 20-something billion to renovate the vice president's lodge, and now we are hearing reports that the vice president has moved out of the lodge because there were CCTV installed that he did not know about, meaning he was being monitored. And I was like, what do you need this thing for? Literally, you could have stayed in your own house. In Abuja, you already have a big house, you have whatever. But no, these are people with extreme poverty mentality who would do anything to ensure that they're grabbing one pie or the other from the national cake, one piece, one slice, whatever it is out there. But like Mr. Peter Obi said, if you can't be talking about securing your life when you've not secured the life of the people. And in securing the life of the people, you actually end up, securing your own life. And that's the way it is. So that's just the way it goes about it. And like you said, it's people, when your people are dying, your people are going through so much, the last thing that you would be thinking about is actually for you to say that you're going to be buying frivolous things. There is no place in Nigeria, no place in the world rather, that someone will say he wants to go there, that he cannot travel there. You can do first class, you can do business class, all of that to fly into those places. But hey, it's always about not the good of the people, but for selfish reason and for their own personal comfort. That's why it's very important for people to always vote those who are going to have empathy for them. Because when there is empathy, it would then mean that you would want to bring the people to your own standard and not just leave them there. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, people just think about the selfish selves at the time they are doing things. You'll find out that a lot of these offices, when they're traveling, they have ambulance attached to their convoy, and they never sit down to ask, what happens the day they are no longer in this office and there's no ambulance? But if they had made provision for the ordinary man, ordinary person, then these ambulances would have gotten to everyone. But that's me digressing a little bit, but that's just the issue. That's the reason why we need people who have empathy, people who have sympathy, people who care for the people to be the ones that are in power. And I think this whole thing where in a Nigerian journalists who always want to make you feel as if, oh, you too, you are going to do whatever it is these people in office are doing. And just you sometimes when they interview people either who are in opposition or advocates or ordinary citizens, the way they are hard on them, you would think that those are the people who are in government. They're never this hard on the people who are in government who aren't doing good, for the nation. Or sometimes where did they see them? A wiki will be there instead of the hard questions to be asked of wiki. They're just asking anyhow frivolous, you know, questions, or even laughing at some of the silly jokes, that they end up making. There is also a recent experience, that happened recently where Wiki had an interview, and if you see how disrespectful he was to Dele Momodu, and for me was the fact that this journalist, Dele Momodu is their senior colleague, this journalist stood there while one of them was being denigrated, and not only that, one of the journalists was even the one who provided the name when Wiki was behaving his usual very let me not say the question. What that was coming out of my mouth. Let me just leave. Let me just like that. In that his hazy way, as if someone who wasn't in his senses, when he was behaving that way, and the way he was denigrating, and then this other person will come and mention the name of Dele Momodu. Honestly, if I had any say in NUJ, they would have fined that guy. Honestly, something should be done to him, because you cannot set up your own colleague like that for drugs. Neither would you sit down and watch your own colleague being denigrated, and you are even laughing. Those ones who laugh, they are also going to get their own fine, but theirs will definitely will be less than the one who was actually going ahead to provide the name of Dele Momodu. It's really so annoying. It's so I just don't know. It's just craziness of all craziness, honestly. But one thing for sure is that Wiki with the interview that Amechi did, really, and then the coalition thing, I think Wiki made the guy no go occupy inside in bed with the psychiatric hospital. Thank you for watching. Bye.